Have you ever wondered what makes one house more valuable than another? Sometimes they can be next to each other in the same street, and yet one is worth thousands of dollars more. Today we're talking to Greville Pabst from WBPPropertyGroup about what he considers valuable when looking at a property. So Greville, obviously there is a lot more to valuing properties though than just the bricks and mortar and the land the house sits on.
That's right, Des. We're in Armstrong Street, Middle Park, and it's all about the lifestyle. It's all about the coffee, the walking distance to the beach and Albert Park.
Greville, you talk about anchor points. That's obviously one thing that most people have, an anchor point for why they buy somewhere.
The anchor here is the beach, and it's the Albert Park Lake, it's the proximity to the city and those sort of factors. So there is a different anchor. And what I really like about Albert Park and Middle Park is the fact that it is, if you look at it from the air, it's a very narrow peninsula. And you're bounded by, to the south you've got Beaconsfield Parade, to the north Canterbury Road, and at one end you've got Fitzroy Street, which bounds it in there, and the other end Pickle Street, Port Melbourne. So it's a very narrow strip of land. And I suppose in terms of valuing, in terms of value, property value, it's about being within walking distance to those amenities, those cafes and those iconic landmarks, I suppose. And say in Bridport Street you have Andrew's Hamburgers. If you haven't had a hamburger there, Des, I recommend you get one. It's one of the best hamburgers in Melbourne. But you've got the Avenue book shop as well there, which is one of the best bookshops in Melbourne. So that's what it's all about, these villages. It's about those unique types of landmarks in those villages.
Obviously the circumstances that draw people to an area change, and after 10 years they might find they have to move out and another lot move in.
The thing that first attracts you to the likes of Albert Park and Middle Park is the high land value and the investment opportunity of buying into those areas. In fact, Albert Park, Middle Park probably has the highest land value per square metre in Melbourne. Typically it can be as high as $5,000 a square metre. So that's, I think, what attracts people there. And but you're right. As children come on the scene and they start to grow, you then tend to run out of space because typically the Albert Park, Middle Park, not very large blocks of land. They're generally 150 to 250 square metres, and they're little Victorian, Edwardian, Federation-style cottages. So you're then faced with that dilemma, to go up or to extend out if you do have the room, or otherwise, well, the trend tends to be that you move down further Bayside into some of the other villages in Bayside like Hampton, Blackrock, Beaumaris and those sorts of areas.
All right, Greville, we're going to put you to work. Have you got somewhere near here that we can look at that will exemplify why prices can vary so much in a small pocket?
I have, Des, just around the corner, only a short walking distance from where we are right now.
Short walk from the village.
That's it.
It's going to be worth a fortune. Greville, a typical Albert Park street. Behind this brick wall, we've got a small single-fronted property. There's a lot of extra value in there because of what's out the back.
Yeah, that's right, Des. A very typical row of Victorian era cottages. Some of these cottages do have rear access, and that really does bring a premium to the value of the property. And the value of a car park in this area could be as much as $100,000. So very valuable to have car parking in Albert Park, Middle Park.
All right, Greville, what about things like the facade of a place like this?
Certainly the period features there are very important. Now, this particular house here is a typical Federation style house. It's solid brick. You can see the bullnose veranda. You can see the decorative cast iron lace work, the tessellated tiles, double hung timber sash windows, and the intricate tuck pointing in the brickwork. All very important period features and really do enhance value because we're not replicating that anymore.
Greville, it's unrenovated, but it looks like it's got pretty good bones.
Very good bones, Des. It's a typical Victorian Federation-style dwelling. We've got 12 to 13-foot ceilings, elaborate cornice work. You've got rosettes, a nice wide hallway, and underneath this carpet, you've probably got original Baltic pine wide timber boards, which for somebody coming in, you've got a blank landscape here. You can just pull it up and start polishing the floorboards.
I guess as well as all the potential, Greville, they've also got 3 nice big bedrooms.
Yeah, and very typical of this era, large bedrooms, fireplaces in every room. Once again, the high ceilings, the rosettes, the very wide skirting boards, as you can see, and the cornice work.
And Greville, obviously always looking for extra value for a house and what it's worth. If they can use a third bedroom or maybe convert it to another bathroom or extra living space, always helps.
That's right, Des, because typically in these types of houses, the kitchen, bathroom and the toilet is at the back of the house.
Greville, a small but serviceable kitchen next to a small but serviceable living area. I guess when you're looking for what is value, it's where you can add to that living and kitchen area?
Des, value is about unlocking the potential. And certainly in this house, you would knock this whole kitchen, bathroom, toilet down, and you would knock out this wall between the kitchen and the lounge room to create this large open space family kitchen room with lots of light coming in. So for somebody looking to buy, that's what I would recommend they do here.
And I guess from a company like yours point of view, you would say it's well worthwhile if someone's looking at a house as wanting to buy, to get an idea of the value, get an expert who knows property?
Exactly right, Des. When you go and buy a car, you typically go and call on a mate who's a mechanic or the RACV to check that car out before you buy. But very few people do that when they go and buy a house, and it's the biggest investment many people make in their lives. So I really do highly recommend that you get a property advisor or a valuer to come through and to check that property out before you sign on the dotted line.